What's going on, guys? It is Lex back with another live market session. It is Tuesday, so this is when I actively like to start getting into the markets and taking a look. If you have been a part of these calls, welcome back. I'm glad you've made time to, carve some time out in your busy day, especially at 9 a.m. in the middle of a workday, to come on here and check out what's happening in the markets and just kind of learn a few things and walk away with some golden nuggets. If you have never been on these live trading sessions, well, welcome. Just to give you a couple of things regarding expectations. My name is Lex. I own my own trading platform, educational platform called Flex Trading. Recently partnered here with Surge as somebody to come in here and help you guys, learn a few things and take some really good setups if you're in a good place to do so. So glad to have you here. It is already September 26th, guys. When I first started doing these, it was August 28th. So literally an entire month has basically gone by, and I can remember getting on the first session saying, right now there's no movement in the market. And as we flow through September and we get to the second and the third week, we're going to have a lot of opportunities. So that time has come, and we actually have a ton of opportunity. Markets have been moving incredibly beautiful. I've also called out, I tend to keep track of my call outs to you guys. So currently we are 5 for 6 on the call outs. So, traders that are a little more advanced, who are, somewhat understanding of what I'm looking for and at, there's opportunity for you to make money and opportunity for you to apply the skill set. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with news, do a quick rundown with some news looking into the week. I'm back on here tomorrow at 9, so I'll be able to keep us kind of with the latest update. So let's go ahead and jump right in and let's check out the news. I always like to start with the news, guys, because it kind of sets the tone for my day. I'm aware of what kind of, oh, that's not news, what kind of trades could be potentially in the works, and have some movement because of obviously a volatile uh, news release. So here we are. This is Forex Factory. You can see it up here. This is where I like to identify news releases. I don't really care so much about what's in the folder, just because I've seen statistics come out where technically it should have pushed the market down and it ended up going upward. So I don't tend to put as much weight. The weight that I put on the news release comes from here. It comes from just knowing that I could potentially have movement on my pair. So you have 3 folders: yellow, low impact, orange, medium, red, high impact, right? Sometimes low impact moves, sometimes it doesn't. Same with medium and red. Specifically though, the red folders are the ones that I like to pay attention to, the ones you should probably pay attention to as well. And I like to correlate them with my pairs. So if I have a 10 a.m. USD pair, and I currently do, I am in an NZD USD trade, then this is something that would appeal to me, right? I got a 10 a.m. red folder coming. I'm in an NZD USD trade right now, so this could potentially play out with some movement. So I'm gonna keep my eye on that. If anybody's trading the Aussie at 9:30, we have red folder for the odd pair, right? So we want to make sure that we are aware of what news events are coming, just so that we don't get caught, on the wrong side of things in a volatile, news drop. But we can't predict how the market's going to move off of a folder, guys. All we can do is just say, hey, we're aware of this time with this folder with this pair. So that's what we're looking at today. Not a ton of news. Wednesday, it's basically nothing. Thursday, we started to get a little more active. We got some Euro, some USD, and then we got some more USD. And then Friday, kind of slow, but we got CAD and USD, but we'll touch on that tomorrow. Right now, my focus is Tuesday, September 26th, 10 a.m. We got red folders. So that's how I use the news. It's very quick, very simple, but it's a part of my disciplines to start out with the news. I refuse to not start with the news, all right? It's most important to me. So let's go ahead and take a look, guys. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I am going to share the charts because most of us are super excited to get in there. So we will go NZD USD. Boom. All right, let's take a look at the DXY for a second, guys. So, this might be redundant for some of you, and this might be brand new news to some of you guys. I love to start with the dollar index, and here's why. The dollar index, guys, it correlates with a lot of our pairs, right? So if I am trading a GBP USD, a Euro USD, AUD USD, NZD USD, if I'm forgetting any, throw them in there. But any XXX USD pairs will move opposite of the dollar index. So if I am looking at a dollar index that is bullish, then I can automatically build an edge against the inverse pairs to be pushing downwards. So those move inverse. The pairs that move with the DXY, meaning follow suit, follow structure, are your USD CAD, are your USD Swiss francs, and then this one can be 50-50, so don't marry this one, but USD JPY. Sometimes it moves with JPY and sometimes it wants to move with the dollar. But those are the pairs that I'm primarily, looking for. And you'll see on my list, I have a lot of correlating pairs. I personally like to trade odd pairs, NZD pairs. So a little slower. It's just kind of the nature of my game. But nonetheless, all of this can be applied even for those that trade indices. I trade indices as well. US 30, NASDAQ, S&P 500, those will move opposite of the dollar index as well. So if the dollar index is pushing downwards, you'll see those pairs go up. So very important just to take a note of what the dollar index is doing. So currently there's a dollar index. And guys, as you continue to, excuse me, return to these calls, you're going to start to become more and more familiar with my terminology. So it is unique to my platform. I do have a website. Pretty sure it's in the bio somewhere down here. If not, I'm sure we'll drop it in there. But I do have a website where you can, learn from me, figure out what package you want to go with. But I think it's important that you know very specific terms, very specific structure points you're looking for so that you can keep your eye focused and not get lost. There's a lot of noise on the screen. There's candlesticks everywhere from like 1980, 1990. So we want to make sure we're making this as clear and concise as possible. But right now on the dollar index, you can see that we have created a new high. So I like to do all of my analysis on the 4-hour time frame. It's my sweet spot. And then I scale down to the 1 hour, right? And then I can use the 1 hour to scale down to the 30 minutes. So I'm more of like a swing outlook with like an intraday scale-in game, intraday take profit game. But the overall bigger picture allows me multiple opportunities to utilize my scale-in strategy. So here we are creating new highs on the DXY. We're at a new high here. This is a key level for me to watch, and then this is a key level. So a couple of things can happen here. We can pull back into this level, bounce. We can break this level, bounce, and then we'll take it from here. But for right now, guys, I am interested in the dollar index remaining bullish, but I do understand right now that there does need to be a pullback, right? We are in a new high, so at some point we got to get a pullback. Guys, that doesn't mean you trade the pullbacks, right? I am a trend trader. Like, as corny as it sounds, trading with the trend is so substantial to your success, all right? Because it's too vague to try to pick a top and pick a bottom in a reversal that's going counter to the actual trend, right? It's so much easier to trade with the trend, and there's not one pair on here that's not giving you some sort of trend continuation, right? So try to find the pairs that are trending. They're the easiest to read. You can easily come in here and be like, all right, perfect. I can see new low, new high. All right, now I just need to get in here. So it's going to make it a lot easier if you trade with the trend at all times. All right, so DXY, we obviously need to pull back. Here is gold. This was a gold setup, not taken, but one of my students called it. And she's a phenomenal trader. Her name's BJ, and she called this. She saw the internal break. She caught a trade from here. Nothing for me to do right now at this point in time on gold, so I'm not going to go into it. This would be AUD USD. This one we've been just sitting with, holding, waiting for it to do something. I originally called this to my team, and I believe I called this to you guys last week, or when was this candle? The 20th. Okay, so yeah. So we have this new low on the 4-hour time frame. If we look closely, we have a lower high, we have a low, and then we have this beautiful pullback. We ran all the way to my last line of defense, and we rejected, meaning we didn't trade above. So for me, the bear structure is still intact, all right? So we broke this internal movement here, pulled back. I called this scale in. So we had one entry, we have two entries running, and now you can see that if we hop down to the lower time frames, we can see that we're still holding these lows, these lower highs. So I want to see if this thing can roll over somehow, roll over and head to this TP1. We still got a ways to go, but for right now, AUD USD has a lot of bearish confirmations, guys. Nothing that's striking me as this just randomly wants to shoot up, and that wouldn't be a trade that I would take anyways, unless I had an overabundance of confirmation that this was going to head, higher. But right now, everything from the bearish outlook is in our favor. So we got a higher time frame low. We have the internal break. I teach this thoroughly. Matter of fact, we just had a class yesterday on this. So that was a great session to come in here and learn about internal breaks, because that's going to be the difference in your trading. That's going to teach you whether or not this market is really going to flow to your new low or your new high. If it's ready, it's going to give you multiple scale in. So internal breaks is a concept that you're going to constantly hear me talk about. But this is the internal break, price pullback, and then we rejected and we haven't gone back into this area. So I am looking for price. Now, if price can just roll over here, right, this isn't enough for me to take an entry. I actually need price to start rolling over and displaying bearish pressure. So right now, odds in like this weird standstill place. This is one that I wanted to touch on. Guys, I called this one back in September 13th, and look how many pips. So this was a massive swing trade that I called out. It's up 142 pips, but I've been picking at it. I caught this last week for $1,000. Caught this as well. So this is just an easy trend. It's in these moments, guys, trends like this, that you got to take advantage, because you have an entry opportunity. 1, 2, 3. Got 3 times to take these trades and write them up for a significant amount of profit, right? This is a decent amount of profit here. So take advantage of your trends. This is odd CAD. This one's just been, creating new lows, lower highs. So if we take a look here, I'll rearrange. I haven't updated this yet. That's my 2-hour last line of defense. I don't want to see price trade back above here. If it stays beneath, then we push the TP2 down here. So you can see we have all these new lows, lower high, low, lower high, low, lower high, low, lower high, low. And now we're waiting for that lower high to try to establish itself, establish some sort of resistance, and then roll over, right? All right, let's go to the next one. There's nothing here. NZD CAD, this is one that I actually had a ghost trade on yesterday with my students. Just kind of saw this lower time frame, and guys, I'm in the 30 minutes, so I'm a little bit more into the granular details, but this was a new high, and I saw this pullback reject, and then we danced and rejected, and then we danced and rejected again. So I actually have it hitting, what level is this right here? 87.75. So if I was in this trade, and I'm not, right? I'm not in it. If I was in it, my stop loss would already be at break even, and my entry would have came somewhere in here. So this is a beautiful trade. And I have a weird perspective on risk to reward, and it's had to evolve over time, right? Like we always want to say, well, we should go 1 to 2, or we should go 2 to 4, or 1 to 1. Let me tell you guys something. In Forex, there is no predicting your risk to reward. There can be moments where you're like, this is a 1 to 2, and it ends up being a 1 to 8. You could say this looks like a 1 to 7, and it ends up being a 0 to 1, right? It ends up being nothing. I have completely unmarried and reconditioned myself around that thinking. I'm just looking for high probability areas to get into the market. How far or how short or how, if it doesn't go, that's dependent on the market and not dependent on me. So I try to leave that kind of thing open. I do look at short-term targets, right, that I need to see break for this to continue. But when I'm hopping in this trade, I'm not hopping in with the idea of saying, oh, this is a 1 to 2, and at 2 I'm out. I will scale out some of my profits at certain targets, right? Because if I'm taking a buy off of support here, I'm looking to get back to this high. I'll scale out some, but I'll leave a runner. I'll move break even, and as long as we can keep this thing pushing, I have no reason to close. I don't want to close a potential trade that could just soar, just like we saw with odd Swiss franc, if I don't have to, right? So I'm getting more in the mindset of one of these could really go. Just make sure you scale your profit out, leave a runner, and then see what happens. So right now, this trade alone off of this ghost setup is up 31 pips from when I called it yesterday on my live session with my trading platform. So super cool there. I still think this is going to push up, right? We got this bullish new high. We've established support. This isn't just randomly going to reverse right now, right? We can see what happens at news, but right now we're still holding this bullish structure. Looking left, it looks like we could tap into these areas right in here. So I am looking to see this continue higher. But nonetheless, there's not an opportunity to get in right now. And that's the reality of the markets. You're going to approach the market sometimes, and for me, it's always New York session. This is my bread and butter time session, like my time frame, my time zone, my I guess session in the market. So I get to the market sometimes and it's left me, or it's not ready, or it's not in my area of confluence, and now it's dependent on me to wait. So now I literally have to sit back and I gotta wait for my area of confluence, right? My area of interest, all my confirmations to come together. If I arrive to the market and it's like this, then I just simply let it play out and I wait till there's a new high, because once there's a new high, right? Once I can get this, not that, once I can get this, guys, then I'm in a position to catch that. All right, so there's nothing wrong with waiting. Continue to be patient, but nonetheless, this looks like a pretty great ghost trade that was taken. This is my NZD/USD. I'm sure you guys want to see it. I did take a really early entry on this. Like, I'm talking like early London. Not really my style, but it was really obvious. And it has like no risk, right? I have like not even there. My stop loss is here. I have like 16 pips of risk, right? So we can see that we had this new high, and I'm on the 1 hour time frame. Let me back it up. All right, because this is something I'm trying to emphasize over and over to my team as well, is that the time frame that you mark the zone off of has to be the time frame that you respect the zone marked off of. So you can see I have this 4 hour last line of defense, which is the overall 4 hour lower high responsible for this low. And then you can see that I have this 1 hour last line of defense. So my 1 hour last line of defense is actually the last line of defense in this pullback to get me to this high. So as long as price holds this level and we don't break it, right? As long as we stay above, we got this new high, we pull back, tried to create another new high. It's slightly higher, right? That price action close higher. So now I'm in this pullback right here, and you can see that this level that I left on, and that's something that you'll see often, is that when you leave your zones on, in the future, somehow they come into play. It's just how the market works. But we can see I left this zone on to this previous higher high that was broken. Price came up here and we bounced off this. So it's kind of shaping up just like NZD CAD, and they move in correlation. I'm trying to find where is the compare. There's like a compare button I can use. Here it is. So let's look at NZD CAD structure and comparison. Look at that. So that what you're looking at, guys, that line graph down there is actually NZD CAD's price action. All right, so this is NZD/USD, this is NZD CAD. You can see this is the new high. This is the structure we're at right here. This aligns with this new high. We've acted as support, and we've bounced. That's the same thing I'm looking for here in NZD/USD. Literally just looking for this to find some sort of support and bounce, and you can see that we do have that price action. We have the first touch, level of support, price comes, and what does it do? It rejects. And some of you might be asking what rejection actually looks like. It's a bearish, bullish candlestick in an uptrend. All right, when you're looking to find support in a buyer's market, you need a bearish, bullish candlestick pattern, and that's what we have here, which says I could take the entry 16 pips. I'm basically risking like $200 max, I think, is my risk. But I might have upped my lot size just a little bit, so I'm willing to go outside of my risk just a little bit today, because I like the risk. Like, if I lose 300, no big deal. Get it back. Like, that's a very small loss on my account. So that's what I'm looking for. It's 64 pips that I'm really looking to take. But if this thing breaks this level here and goes higher, then I'm just going to hold this entry, because I don't know how long this thing's going to go for. All right, this is USD Swiss franc. This is USD CAD, not interested. You can see NAS still spilling. US 30. This is odd. I think GBP odd. We need a pullback. This is really ugly. If I can get some sort of a pullback kind of deeper into here, then I think I'd be interested in taking this trade. But these kind of pullbacks don't appeal to me, right? Because my risk is like all the way up here. And that means I've got all this room. So I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a legitimate pullback. I just haven't received it yet. This is Euro USD, so this is one that's very interesting. It's already created new lows. So I'm not going to do anything here. We need a pullback if I ever entertain this one. GU spilling. And then we had this Euro CAD, and shout out to BJ if you're on this call. She called this one. This was a new low. And I mean, this individual student on my platform has completely mastered my strategy, guys, and spun it and made it her own twist, and she's just killing it. But This is the 1 hour last line of defense, which means I then get into the 30-minute and I'm waiting for my first internal break. So I'm looking for support to give out. At this moment, we don't have anything there. So I'm going to actually move this up to here. Take this off, and what was this one? All right. So yeah, so for me, guys, I think the best call out right now would be EuroCAD. If we can see support levels start breaking, and it's just part of the market, guys, where we're in. We don't have a ton of setups. I don't scalp. I'm not a scalper. I'm a 1 hour kind of individual. So I'm looking for support levels to break and retest, support levels to break to get me back to this low. If we can get that, then we're going to be in really good shape. But until I see that, guys, there's just no trade. It's really simple. It keeps me in alignment with what I'm looking for. And if I don't see the internal break, then I don't take the trade usually. I like to really give it a chance to establish confirmation, because confirmation is going to get me into this trade to take a really nice sell to these lows. So that's about it, guys. I'm not going to keep you too long. Usually these are about 20-25 minutes. That's what we're looking at. If you're interested in inquiring about my online platform, I offer a lifetime bundle access, which comes with one-on-ones per request of student. We have one weekly live session. You get my market analysis, you get my video library, you get my recording playbacks, you get infographics that are designed by me. So they are very specifically designed by me to get you like flashcarding them, right? If anybody's been to college, flashcards were imminent. But if you haven't, flashcards are still going to play a major role in conditioning yourself to identify patterns. And that's what this is about, is identifying patterns first. Once you've got the technical out of the way, you need to focus on psychology after, because you can learn all the technicals that you want. It's never more education. It's never more patterns. It's all about your psychology. So if you can keep your psychology in check, you're going to be a really good trader. And that's where the difference in success comes into play. It's not application. It's actual strong psychology. So make sure you're working on that. I do offer a monthly subscription, so you get access to my call outs. We hit all the time at Flex Trading. And for those who have been on these calls, you can see last week, proof is in the pudding. So I do hand out analysis, not signals, analysis. You also get access to my video library full of my education, my personal content. So that's super cool. And then I have a one-on-one package, which is 3 60-minute one-on-ones for 175, I believe. So you get one-on-ones with me, hands-on teaching. So hopefully the link is somewhere below. If not, maybe one of my students can drop it in if they're on the call. But with that being said, guys, tomorrow, Wednesday, still early in the week, so I tend to be a little more patient and give myself a little more grace in the market. And as price develops, as this 10 a.m. USD red folder news launches, we'll get more indication of where price is headed, and I'll make sure to keep us up on the latest and greatest updates for us to catch pips. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. session, and much